Here are the few items that were used during this. Piece of styrofoam, cloth on top, metric Allen keys or Allen wrenches or hex keys, hex wrenches, my cheat sheet, if you will, or my progress sheet. I glue that on the back of the string pack, which I cut out. These are the ball end, of course, Fender 9s. So I'll glue that on there. Vaseline with some toothpicks, pen, saws, scissors, string stretcher, a couple of cloths, small Phillips head screwdriver, dog bone, pair of diagonals, tape, and a magic marker. Hello, and thank you for watching Guitar How-Tos. Also, I have laid out about 26 strips, doubled, and that should be way more than enough. Let's go from head to toe here. The tuners seem to feel good, which means that these little screws on the side are adjusted properly or adjusted consistently. String wrap is good. It looks like they just put the string through the hole and turned. Nothing wrong with that method. String tree is fine. I'll be lubricating under there as we go along. Of course, our plastic nut, no problem. One of the first things I noticed about this guitar is the roughness of the frets. Now, I know in other videos I said that doesn't really bother me, and that's true, but I'm going to polish them today. Okay, let's come on down here. The color is nice. Oftentimes, guitar manufacturers will use paint from car companies for their paint. Not uncommon. That's why you see some of the 50s guitars with the 50s car colors, for example. The switch feels very nice. These are just enough stiffness here. It's fine. It's great. We've got the individual saddles on this model, which personally I prefer those over the barrel ones. Just a personal preference. Of course, we have the pick guard here. I may dig in my drawers and see if I have other pick guards for a Telecaster to see if I get another, matching type pick guard with this blue color. We'll see. Blues are very hard to match. And of course, we have the strap pins, which lend themselves to not slip off, for the strap not to slip off. One of the first things I like to do when taking strings off is just wipe off any dust underneath the strings. Now, I went through various pick guards that I have. Either they don't fit or the color doesn't match, so this one will remain. And let's see if these nuts here are good. Should be snug, which they are. Go backward first, by the way, then forward. Backward first, then forward. Backward first, of course, again, all the way through. This gives you a better feel for how much torque you need. Very well. All in all, they weren't that bad. I had to loosen this one to get under it, and I'll need 2 hands for that, so I'll be doing that off camera. This is Vaseline. Just putting a little underneath, and I'll do that over here too. Okay, on this Tele, comes out to be, again, 14 layers of tape. Put that against the first fret, just feeling for a little hump, and then move it over to the nut. If you want more instructions about this, see the video of nut slot depth anyone can do. I'll do my best to put it at the end of this video. These are files. These are jeweler's files. They have really small teeth on these. You can find these on the internet. They're very, very handy. They come in different sizes. And pardon me if I call them files. This is like an ingrained mistake. So let's see how this nut nut shapes up here. I have a feeling these are probably cut well. So little coming off. So very little. Finally, the E string. Feel a little bit resistant, so that means I'm cutting. Okay, I don't want to take really anything more off. You can see I didn't even wait for the usual white lines to appear over here. And not to worry about this or this. This tape is a little high. So this tape really doesn't mean anything other than to protect the wood. Okay. I don't want to have to go through fixing an overcut nut. So I'm going to just leave it as is right now. Let's tape off the fretboard. I laid one strip down along the edge. Hopefully that will help with removing the tape. I didn't do the other side. Usually I do. I don't know, I just didn't do it today. Let's see if this method works on one side and peel it back later. Okay, so I'll just speed this up. As you can see, we've got the fretboard taped over to protect it from the sandpaper when I'm polishing the frets. And anyone can make something to protect your guitar. I've made mine out of cardboard. This is probably a cereal box. Now, because these frets seem to be just rough on the surface here, I'm not going to be using the wood block for that. I'm just going to take a 1000 grit sponge, a 3000 grit pad, and a 5000 grit pad to wipe the top of the frets or scrape the top of the frets. And it's helpful to count so you keep the same count on each fret. So I try to cover as many frets as I can. Okay, that was 50. And we'll do the next section. And the next section. The last section. This is where, of course, the cardboard comes in handy. Okay, now they still feel a little rough. You can hear that. So I'll do this. I'll do this again. Much better, but could use more. Nearly gone. Do another 30. Oh, very well. Now for 3,000. Okay, that was 30. Wow, I don't feel anything now. Nothing. I'm going to do it again anyway. Okay. And finally, 5,000 grit. 30 times. A few more of the 5,000. Because at this grit, it's very unlikely it's going to lower the height of any fret. Not with this many rubs and not with this fine a grit. I don't feel anything. I'm going to do it one more time though anyway, just for good measure. Beautiful. Very smooth. Remove our guard. All ready for next time. Take our tape off. Very good. So one side, running a piece of tape down one side works well. I'm going to put these Fender 9s on. These are ball end. Relief was good on this guitar. All I did, just for personal preferences, I used the number 4 metric Allen wrench and turned it just a quarter of a turn. Everything's looking good on this guitar. So let's do some sound samples on the next video. I hope in the meantime this has helped you out.